Alrighty, we're back yet again. Time for another tier list. New patch has just dropped. We're only like 2 days in. So this is going to be mostly first impressions, kind of prediction tier list. Way more likely to be wrong. I'm going to talk a little bit about the balance of the game rather than hyper focus on like, wow, this placement is higher than this one. Because frankly, a lot of these nerfs are not the biggest, but the game was pretty balanced before already. We actually know this too because we know the win rates of different characters. There's not like too much diversity at top level in the previous couple of patches, but the actual win rates of characters and, in my opinion, the strength of many of these characters were actually much closer than people made them out to be. It was just one of those cases where a lot of the worst characters are very unpopular too. So both those work together where the popular characters are the better ones. Even if slightly better, it made a huge difference. So there's definitely going to be some tier list shakeup, but not the biggest patch still. We're expecting there to be a really big patch in Season 1 when that drops, probably with console, I'm assuming. We don't really know, but most likely 20th January. That's when it says the current season ends, and Season 0 is supposed to be until the first character comes out. So, with all that said, let's just go ahead and quickly talk about how the tier list looked pre-patch. In my opinion, I would say the tier list last patch looked something like this, right? Boom, boom, boom. This is how I would probably rank the list before, except that this was like S plus S A, right? Which, might look like semantics, like, oh, there's still different tiers, but I think it's meaningful because the game is much more balanced than people think it is. These characters on the top were the best, but there were still a lot of characters that were viable. People won with Braum, people won with Darius, people won with Jinx, Blitzcrank, Vi, Warwick. All these characters saw some representation at the absolute highest level too. It's not as much. But what happened with the patch? Well, the main thing that changed in the patch was simply like character nerfs to specifically Ekko, Teemo, Yasuo, and a small one to Ahri, and then some nice buffs to Blitzcrank. And then in general, the meta keeps developing. We keep getting a better and better understanding. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to try to figure out the basics, right? It's like, are they in the same tier now? Is there any major character movements? Is Ekko nerfed so much that like Vi is better than him? So let's talk about a little bit each character's state. First, starting off with Blitzcrank. Blitzcrank was quite significantly buffed, but it's one of those things where in fighting games, it's always a lot about, how many options you have and the strength of those options, right? And Blitzcrank had an issue versus projectile characters, which was, he couldn't really clear, he can't really get in that easily, but he had Rocket Punch, which is solid, but not amazing, right? They now buffed his Rocket Punch, so it's like quite a bit better than solid. It's like very good versus projectiles, but it's still mainly his only tool versus projectiles. He also builds steam faster, which is very, very good for some things, but also doesn't really help him in neutral that much. All in all, I think Blitzcrank only really moved up to A plus maybe. And I think like Braum is now worse than Blitzcrank, right? But they're both very close, and I don't think the buffs actually matter that much. That said, I never thought Blitzcrank at top level was that bad. We have some actual great representation of Blitzcrank in Europe, like Gumbo got like third at one of the first Impact online tournaments, which had like 300 people. In general, a pretty underrated character. And Blitzcrank's only real bad matchup was the projectile characters. So, even a slight buff versus those and a steam buff, like, it adds up, like it might not seem like the biggest thing, but it definitely adds up. But, still does not have the most insane, mix-ups. And overall, while having good assist on hit, Blitzcrank doesn't use other assists that well, and doesn't Blitzcrank's assist in neutral doesn't do as much as you would want it, considering that you mainly use assist in neutral in this game and not like on block strings and on hit. Especially on hit is not that common. I do think Blitzcrank's assist is good on block, but like the main purpose of an assist is generally to win neutral. Because of how strong active tag is, and because of how this game is a lot about doing like calling your assist, letting them do the poking, and then once they connect, you tag to the other character. The problem with Blitzcrank assist is that like he grapples them from all the way over there, and that means that if this is whiffs, you can't tag to Blitzcrank and then command grab them, right? Because Blitzcrank doesn't get pushed forward when he does it. That's something that Braum does a lot better. Braum is actually like a lot better, I think, than most people realized. Some people actually have Braum like up here. I personally still think he's a bit more limited, but I honestly don't know, because I have not met a single Braum player that actually felt like they were like truly great players. I haven't played some of the best Braums, to be fair. But I've played a lot of tournaments, and I just haven't found someone who, sure, I don't know everything there is to know about Braum, but I do know basically every other character in the game. And the Braum players I have faced, like, I'm not trying to flame them, but when I see their other character, right? So like they play Braum Ekko, Braum Warwick, Braum Ahri, and I see their other character, which I do know, all look like the other character is pretty homeless. Like they're pretty ass. Which means that it's pretty easy to say that this player is actually not like good enough to truly bring out the best in his characters yet, which is hard and understandable. Obviously, it's new, but it does mean that it's really hard to rank Braum strength-wise, because some of the things Braum does is so strong, like Unbreakable and his S1 super, clearing assists super well. His assists are amazing, and obviously the shield is like still the best move in the game in terms of neutral. But I just don't know. Like, I haven't really found a single Braum combo that seems to know a B&B. Like, it sounds ridiculous, but like they all drop their combos so often. And I know that, yeah, Braum has some harder combos, but like you should not be dropping your combos this much. And I feel like either I see someone do ABC super or I see them drop it half the time. So I'm actually going to change this one to A+ ? Because I think both these characters are just like really underdeveloped, and we'll have to see how they do in the future. I have not watched Light Wisp that much, and I have not played with Light Wisp as far as I know. Maybe I'll play them in ranked, but not that I remember. A really big thing, by the way, too, is a lot of people that play Braum, and even Darius and Illaoi, I've noticed a lot of these people use the wrong views. You see a ton of people play Double Down with Blitzcrank and Braum and Warwick and Darius, and like these characters are not Double Down characters at all. So like I think a lot of people have really really skewed view of how bad the worst characters are, simply because the worst characters have player bases that don't want to lab, they don't want to play the best fuse because freestyle takes a lot of time to learn, and maybe they just want to play Braum and chill. But it does mean that you can't really accurately rank these characters, right? Lightweights plays 24/7. I've seen them play a little bit, and I don't mean to like trash talk Lightweights, but like I didn't see anything crazy, like different from the other Braum players. I could have just watched them on a bad day. Like, this is not me trying to like trash talk anyone. It's just like there isn't a Braum player that's a top player. In the same way that like I don't think Goombo plays very well, right, with Brits, and I don't think Goombo's a top player either. This is not me trying to like trash talk someone. It's just like the best player in the world, the best players in the world are like a couple, 4, 5 people, right? So it's like it's not that surprising that a Braum player is not one of them, given how unpopular he is. Next up, we have Jinx. So I think Jinx is quite underwhelming in a lot of ways, but still is surprisingly strong. It's one of those things where it's like, yeah, she feels like shit to pilot, and her mix-ups are not that strong, and like she doesn't do a lot of damage. She has like some of the worst conversions in the game, if not the worst conversions in the game, due to needing like a close hit a lot of the time to get a 2H combo, unless she has access to Zap. Doesn't get great air to air conversions, doesn't like combo from throw anymore. Her overhead is the worst overhead in the game by far. But all that said, I think zoning is just still really strong in this game, due to how strong defensive play is. And her double assist and her double down is still both very, very, very good. So I don't think she's bad at all. The only thing Jinx really sucks at is playing solo, like when your other character's dead. Specifically when she's 1v2. 1v1, she's actually pretty good because she can keep zoning you. And a lot of other characters, like let's say a Darius, who might have really strong mix-ups with an assist, does not have super strong block strings solo. So winning neutral as Jinx matters more in a 1v1 situation, right? She also has an amazing super assist. But the main thing for Jinx for me is that she's still worse Teemo in a lot of ways, and she feels really bad to move with. She's probably the worst feeling character to pilot, even though she's technically, maybe more mobile than Braum. Braum, it makes sense that he feels that shit to move with, right? Teemo is not much faster than Jinx, and actually slower, when it comes to dash speed. But his movement, like he has a lot more like flexibility in terms of his movement due to his floats, and he's also just a lot smaller, and his moves don't have quite as big commitment. That said, a lot of Jinx's moves are really big hitbox wise, and they do have big, like Jinx has much better normals than Teemo for the most part, right? It's really just like Teemo 5L and JL that make Teemo's normal better, and JM. But overall, Jinx actually does have a lot of things over Teemo. It's just that her traps are a little bit too much work, like too much risk for how much they do compared to like a mushroom, which is very safe. And her offense solo is just so bad. It's so bad. Like it's not like you can win with it all the way onto top level, and even at top level you can win with it, of course, especially since people are not very good against her. But the fact that you can't like tag to Jinx even when you have your assist and actually like force a mix up outside of strike throw, and she doesn't even have a good strike throw anymore because she doesn't get a good combo mid screen, It's just really sad, honestly. Not sure what they're thinking about her. It's probably because Jinx is like one of the best characters at low level. So people they don't want to buff her too much so that Sonar is the best. But yeah, I really wish they gave her more movement, gave her like some type of mix up at least. Maybe some better block strengths, you know. That said, it is interesting because Jinx is relative to Ekko. Jinx is better this patch than she was when we ranked her number 1. We were just all really wrong, and it's understandable, but it's kind of hilarious that we actually thought Jinx was the best character. And it wasn't just me, you know, like it was Sonic Fox, Super Noon, everyone, right? We all thought Jinx was fucking great. And then as the game developed, we realized she was just more flawed, and being good in like Fury, having double assist, stuff like that, which just meant more basically. And especially now that double down got nerfed, it's more obvious than it was before that she was actually always bad, because she really did rely on this one thing. And even double down super is still really, really strong with Jinx. It's definitely overall her best fuse in my opinion, but it's just not enough, you know. It's not quite enough to make up for the fact that when you actually have to play Jinx, she is still just a little bit underwhelming. Not like massively or anything. She just has a clear weakness, which every character above her does not. Like not a single character above Jinx has a weakness. Like a big abusable weakness, right? Except actually the best character in the game. Best character in the game is the only other character than Jinx that has a weakness. It's pretty funny. A notable weakness. So Darius. Darius is an incredible all-rounder. I think he did not get any real changes. Let me actually pull up the patch notes so I can show you guys. Because so far there has been basically no changes to mention. But I figured I might as well show them when I talk about them. So Darius just has bug fixes. Jinx just had bug fixes too. Okay. Yeah, Jinx back assist is one of the best assists in the game, if not the best assist in the game. But her forward assist is the worst assist in the game by far. So it doesn't make up for it. You still don't want to run double assist with Jinx that much because her forward assist is that awful. It's just like, that's not to say, like the bar is pretty high for assist in this game. It's just straight up that like having a niche assist is too big of a deal in a game like this. The only other assist that comes close is like, I guess, Blitz forward assist or something. But even then, it's not particularly close because you can use the ground version of Blitz assist much more. And the equivalent of like mushroom assist, which is also not an amazing assist, by the way. It's just slightly better, you know. Mostly due to it OTGing. All right, Darius. Yeah, Darius is not changed, but just remains a very strong character. I think Darius will go a lot better next patch when the Teemo bug fixes hit, because right now he does still struggle versus Teemo mainly. I think he does perfectly well against everyone else though. Like he does well against Ekko, Ahri, Yasuo, Vi, Warwick, and Illaoi. I think he's a character that's just like really unexplored. I would not be surprised at all if, you know, Darius ends up being way, way higher once we've allowed him more. What do you think is Darius' best fuse / partner? He is amazing at double assist, and he's amazing at freestyle. I think ideally he would want, like, Darius wants double assist right now because his assist is so stupid. Like, Darius has maybe the best assists in the game due to his back hook disabling defensive mechanics. But the thing is, I think Darius actually would prefer to be played in a freestyle meta where freestyle was better than double assist, because while his double assist is really good, he's really bad against double assist. Since he doesn't have any specific air movement and he doesn't have anything like crazy to do, like anything to stop assists from hitting him. If Darius just playing neutral and he's up against, like the best 2x assists, as in like Ekko, Jinx, double rocket, Warwick double fort assist, Illaoi either assist, like he just can't kind of play against it, right? So I think Darius is going to be very, very strong one if they ever do end up nerfing double assist, which they definitely should. Next up, we have Illaoi. Illaoi, Warwick, and Vi, I'm basically completely unsure of where to put. All these characters, in my opinion, are like, it's basically impossible for me to rank them compared to the top 4 because all these characters, except maybe Vi, are very unpopular. Like these 3. Even Darius is super popular, and Jinx too. But like, I think they're all really strong. Like, I would not be surprised if Illaoi is the best of them. But right now, I think because she doesn't have like her own mix, and because Warwick and Vi just have slightly more ignorant shit, I consider her to be like just quote unquote S tier. Still an incredible character and works with basically every character outside of like, Blitz and Braum. No, she works with Braum too, actually. Yeah, it's mostly just Blitz, I think. Has awkward synergy with Yasuo, but I think that team works. It just takes, it's just a little ugly support-wise. Yeah, honestly, there's not that much to say about Illaoi, but she's incredibly good. She's won tournaments this patch already. Saw Canix beat Noka at yesterday's tournament. But it's mainly just that, frankly, a lot of these big bodies are just really unpopular because not a lot of people play team games to play big bodies. And Illaoi is maybe the least popular character that I've seen compared to her strength in a very, very long time, like across different games. She reminds me a lot of Jigglypuff from Smash, where like Jigglypuff has been a unanimous top tier for many, many years, and people know that Jigs has always been broken, but no one plays melee to play Jigglypuff. They play melee to play Fox or Falcon or, Marth, right? And Illaoi really feels like one of those characters. A lot of Illaoi players also swapped to Warwick, for example. And I was actually talking to one of the developers, and they confirmed that, yeah, we actually saw a lot of Illaoi players swap to Warwick. So an already pretty small player base got further decreased by, or like thinned out, I should say, by Warwick's. Yeah, not really much to say. Amazing double assist, amazing back assist. Her tentacle super is super cancer. I really hope that they end up changing her tentacle super in the corner so that maybe it can be more useful mid-screen, but like not quite as suppressive in the corner, because it really is truly unfun to fight, and it's just like insanely broken. And the tentacle super being so broken and so easy to use just makes the rest of her kit like have to be worse than it should be. She should be able to do some way more fun things with the tentacles other than them just like attacking continuously. So yeah, kind of a wasted character in my opinion compared to all the others. Like, she's the character with the least reason to be here, if I was being harsh. She's not popular in League. She's not popular in 2XKO. She doesn't provide any support that no other character can do, even though she's an amazing support character. She doesn't like fix another character, right? She's no one's best partner, or arguably. So yeah, just one of those things where like she has amazing teams. She's amazing with Ekko and amazing with Ahri and really good with Warwick, Vi, but she's just not fun. So no one's gonna play her, no matter how good she gets. She would have to be God 1, and she would also have to be the best character, and they would have to change the patch schedule so that it's not like a 5-week schedule. So it would actually be worth playing her for people to actually pick her up, in my opinion, because people don't want to play her. Okay, next up we have Warwick. I think Warwick is super sleeper hit. We saw Wawa, who won Evo France, one of the best players in the world, if not the best player in the world. He has started playing a lot more Warwick. Actually ended up swapping off Ekko Yasuo to Warwick to win the tournament. And I think the more I play Warwick, the more I realize that he actually does have good synergy with way more characters than I thought. Whether it be Darius, Illaoi, Jinx, Vi, Ahri, Yasuo, Ekko, Teemo. Like, he just has amazing synergy with everyone. So personally, I'm going to go ahead and move Warwick up. I think Warwick is now clearly, in the same tier as the best characters for me. The main thing that keep him so broken is that he does not need Bloodlust whatsoever. It's a nice bonus, and currently he's actually bugged in Bloodlust. His bite has no scaling whatsoever, letting him wobble people until his Bloodlust runs out. So he has very easy TOD combos now. That's probably a bug. It's not confirmed yet, but it's going to be a bug. It's an unmentioned buff, if not. So I think he's very, very good currently because he's bugged. He's probably actually probably here because he's bugged. Like, he's probably third best in the game with the bug on. But, if we rate him a little bit on average, he's probably a little bit worse. It was confirmed to be a bug. Okay. So I'm gonna make a list for pre-bug fix, because we also know that the Teemo bugs are bugs, right? So I'll make pre-bug fix and then post-bug fix predictions, right? He doesn't need install, but he's really good with install. I think he is the overhead for Warwick is arguably the worst assigned move in the entire game. It's an overhead that is technically reactable due to its speed, but it shares animations with its run animation, so you can't actually see the difference in a lot of situations. It can be spaced to be safe. It's super easy to cover with an assist. It's amazing when you active tag. Like, you can send the overhead and then tag out to another character and plug the gap, so you can parry it. Absurdly easy anti-airs with his DP. That's plus even if they block it. His anti-projectile stuff is very good too, so he actually does not struggle as much versus Teemo, Ekko, and Ahri as you might think. Not against Jinx either. The overhead is so stupid. His dive kicks are both amazing as well. Really, really strong strike throw game as well because of his overhead and his hop jumping, right? So you can't throw tech against him easily. Stand M and JM are the best normals in the game, bar none. Straight up, outside of Teemo, 5L, and JL, they are just simply the best normals in the game. Massive, absurd fucking hitboxes. And the perfect spacing too. Has good jabs, really good movement. Yeah, dude, Warwick's dive kick being -3 and leading to a full combo is just ridiculous. When you look at Ekko needing a super convert of his Helmbreaker, right, and being punishable if he doesn't spend super, you see Yasuo's JS1 being hella minus and having 70 total frames if it whiffs. Ahri, the air character, her if you use her dive for dive kick, she's death every single time on block, and even on hit she usually does not get a combo. Whatever character it is, Illaoi needs super to convert, Darius needs super, Jinx gets nothing on normal hit from her dive kick, and then you just have Warwick dive kick. For a character with also the best air normal, JM, along with Yasuo JH, but one of the best air normals in the game. An amazing super jump, an amazing jump height for normal jump too, and the dive kick just is -3 on block and full combos with jab on hit, and even air hits, then he gets the bite conversion anyway, and it's like not scaled. So if you assist, you still do 500. It's quite honestly really stupid. It makes him a better air character than like anyone but Ahri and like anyone but the top 4, right? Or like the Ekko, Ahri, and Teemo, which are like dedicated air characters. Like actually better than Yasuo, which is kind of insane because for not having a double jump, Yasuo's air game is very good, obviously, right? Yeah, I think as people like Warwick seems like a simple character, but just kind of like I predicted, while he is a simple character, getting slightly better combos, and we found a lot of new combo routes for Warwick, and just getting better at knowing how to abuse Blood Rage because you don't get into it that much, so it takes longer to learn how to play with it. I think Warwick is incredibly strong in this patch. I'm not sure exactly how good he will be after the bug fixes, but we'll get back to that. Dive kick is easily 2Hable. No, it's not. It's you can't react to it. Okay. Next up we have Vi. I think Vi is another one of those characters where, for some reason, if you watch American tournaments only, you might think that Vi is not top tier. But like she is everywhere in Europe. She's like legit way more common than Teemo in and Ahri in Europe. Or at the very least Teemo. I'm not 100% sure on the Ahri, but like as popular or more popular than Ahri, definitely more popular than Teemo. Like she is so common in EU, and it's for good reason. I think this character is so fucked up. Best movement in the game now, like ground movement. Now that Yasuo's nerfed, Sway is still incredible. Has good defense, like the best defense in the game, I would say, because she has obviously amazing movement, biggest jab, a 6-frame massive 2L, has counter, has super that like can beat like small gaps. Yeah, just like quite ridiculous in every way you would expect. The only weakness, if you could call it that, is that Vi's air conversions are kind of awkward. They're not bad though, and she can usually just use her S2 super to make sure that like the next hit kills. But she does have some janky conversions. I don't think they're actually bad, but they do take some more effort, like learn how to convert. People think that she has bad anti-airs because her 2H is bad, but she has a really good air throw, the best jab for anti-airs. She has JS2, and she's just incredibly fast, which actually matters more than having a slightly bigger 2H hitbox. Like, you can't say that Vi is worse at anti-airing than Teemo, and obviously Teemo is arguably the best character in the game, so really, she has no problems anti-airing at all. It's just that her 2H is just bad. It's not even that bad. It's just because she's so fast. You can actually like, you just can't like sit still, holding crouch, and then 2H, right? Yeah, I think Vi also works with everyone. Ekko, Teemo, Warwick, Ahri. She works okay with Yasuo, but that's more Yasuo's fault than anything else. Like Warwick, Vi provides amazing support to Yasuo. It's just that Yasuo doesn't provide much for Vi. Amazing with Darius, Jinx, Illaoi. Not very good with Blitz, very good with Braum. So I think she's very clearly one of those characters that should be S tier. I don't know if she's better than Yasuo or Ahri or Teemo or any of these characters. So I'm probably not going to order these too much, but she very definitely has the chance of being, she could honestly be the best character in the game. And I think we just have to wait and see a little bit. The main thing I think with Vi is that she has the best standard offense in the game, which means like just strike versus throw, right? Solo offense wise, if she makes contact with you, she has the best offense in the game. It's just that like post hit, her Oki is not as good as like Teemo Oki, Ahri Oki, Ekko Oki, right? Where they put up the projectile. She doesn't have amazing like knockdowns always, but I think you can pair her with a character like Ahri or Ekko, and then just or Warwick, and then or or Illaoi, and then you tag from her combos, and you let them do the Oki instead, and you kind of fix her, good, not amazing, not top 1 Oki. And she basically is just a flawless character. Yeah, I personally rate working with different characters very, very highly. So the fact that Vi works with everyone puts her like into easy S tier for me. Yeah, she's also very good solo. You can't zone her out solo, and she uses like super assist incredibly well, right? Due to her sway. Her sway is like the best offensive tool in the game. She can always cross you up. She always forces sandwiches. You can't retreating guard against her because of sway throw being like incredibly broken. Yeah, you basically always have to get through your life whenever Vi is close to you, or even if she's like far away. Then she just has the best movement in the game. So like you can't catching her is really hard. The only thing Vi doesn't do is she doesn't like put projectiles out on the screen, right? So she's kind of an all or nothing character in some ways, but her bets are always high. They always give hella reward. It's just that she can't like zone you out, right? So don't pick her if you want to zone. That's basically it. Okay, so this has been like the ordering of this is kind of sus, but like let's talk Yasuo. So Yasuo got some quite significant nerfs. The backdash nerf is huge, but it's fine still. Like he can still play defensive, but it's just like very noticeable now that Yasuo's a worse backdash than say, Vi, Ekko, Warwick, right? I'll say he has about the same backdash speed as Darius now, maybe Blitzcrank, which is still fine, just not like amazing. And the reason why it actually is a way bigger nerf than you might think is that unlike Blitzcrank and Darius, Yasuo has very good zoning. Like he really excels at running away from the opponent and then setting up wind wall, setting up judgment cut, stabbing, poking them with Hasagi, calling his assist, right? Like he's an in and out character type of thing. He's not like a hard zoner like Teemo Jinx, but he wins the game from further away, right? By doing things from full screen. And so the fact that he has to take way more risk to get to full screen is a bigger deal than you might imagine. Because he can't really just like, oh, I'm just going to play mid-range. I'm just going to rush down. Because Yasuo is not the best character at playing mid-range due to his 5M being quite weak against crouchers, and in general, like not having air movement, right? So he's more predictable to fight in mid-range and while trying to get in, but his strength is playing the full screen game. That said, he did get a buff to stance dash, which doesn't really matter, but it does make it a little bit better to play like with a stance backdash, but you are fully vulnerable with that. You can't block during it. So while a nice nerf, like the truly, while a nice compensation buff, the truly broken thing with Yasuo is that he could backdash, and then as soon as you jumped in on him, he would 2H you or, like whiff punish you or whatever, right? And when he is in his stance backdash, he can't do that on reaction. So it is quite weaker, but like it's still very, very good. Definitely, could see them nerfing Yasuo more, especially because Yasuo is not even close to nerfed enough to where he would be, like, you would be forced to drop him. They didn't nerf his, like, regular assist at all. So if you play someone that's good plus Yasuo, the other character still feels the full benefits of having Yasuo's assist. In general, I don't think people will drop teams that much. unless they do a really bad job of balancing him, like they did with Jinx, where they just nerfed her too much when she was already overrated. I think it's quite rare that people are gonna swap from Yasuo unless there's just a better Yasuo. Like when Yone comes and like he's just Yasuo but better, maybe then we'll swap from Yasuo. In general, I would say that like just because a character is popular, especially if they were broken before, you can't really see it their success or the fact that they're common in top 8s and be like, wow, this means they're still broken. Because since people don't want to swap characters, or like people don't drop characters unless they're forced to, or if there's another character they like more, until there's more characters to play, like, you know, Ahri, Yasuo, Ekko. I just don't think a lot of these people will drop them anyway, because most people play them, yes, because they're good, but also because of how they play, right? They're not big bodies. They're very highly mobile. They have mix-ups. A lot of people just prefer that playstyle when they play team games. Which is why like Jinx and Teemo have never been super popular, even a top level. Like there's only a couple people that really do it with them, because the average person prefers to not play zoning or like big bodies, right? That said, I think Yasuo like is kind of hard to rate now. We'll have to see exactly how much he's nerfed. He's still bugged in a positive way. He can do S1 super from his regular like air series, which he's not supposed to do, which lets him double super. It lets him do way more damage. So I think post bug fix he'll probably fall a bit, but for now, I think he is still pretty good, but not like the best, right? Next up, we have Ahri. And I actually think Ahri is insanely good now. She was already second best on my previous tier list. I think going back to it, I would rate Teemo higher than her last patch. Like I think she was second best last patch. Sorry, I think she was third best last patch after Ekko and Teemo in some order. But I do think she has a very strong case for the best character right now. It basically depends on how you value her versus Ekko versus Teemo. Do you think that the Ekko nerfs mattered more? Do you think that the Teemo nerfs either mattered more, or the fact that she's a standard character who's better at making 1v2 comebacks compared to Teemo, does that matter more than the fact that Teemo has better zoning and like is arguably more ignorant? Ahri was also the best character to not get any nerfs. Works with literally everyone. Her assist has gone up in value now since Ekko's assist is quite nerfed. So you don't really ever feel bad picking Ahri. Like no one really says oh man, yeah, Ahri's good, but I wish I had my time. Like that is significantly reduced now. Even if some characters do use my time better, it's not by that much. She got a tiny like nerf in terms of how her super works, but you could actually we already found new combos that do like 5 less damage, and people weren't even optimizing Ahri combos before anyway, so the amount they had left to optimize and improve is way bigger than the amount lost. She's just one of those characters that, because she wasn't good from patch 1, or as good as we thought, or like she wasn't seen as good on the first patch, I should say. She was actually really good even when the game came out, when we thought she was the worst. I think it's one of those things where she just has no flaws. She is incredibly strong in the air. She's the best character running away, in my opinion. Like not zoning, but running away, just like stalling out assist timers, which makes her really good with double assist and really good with freestyle. But she's also incredible at using double down. Like I would say, outside of Teemo and Jinx, she's the best at using double down. Like she uses the double down fuse like absurdly well. So I would not be surprised at all if double down Teemo Ahri is the best team in the game now. Yeah, just good with all the fuses. Um, let's talk about Ekko first. Ekko compared to Ahri, better at going in, much better throw, slightly better like forward movement in general. Like has an easier time pulling up. Slightly better normals as well. Combined with the fact that Ekko is tiny, so like his stand medium hitbox compared to how big he is very very good. But worse jump in normals, much worse air movement in terms of like running away. I think they're quite comparable. Before I would say that Ekko is better just because like there wasn't anything Ahri did way better than him, but Ekko's assist was much better. But now with the big nerfs to Ekko's assist, while they're still good, he doesn't have like an amazing fuse anymore. He's not the best freestyle user like Ekko, and I don't think he's the best double assist user anymore. That's probably Illaoi. So he's a little awkward to play now in terms of which fuse you play, but he's still good all around. The only fuse he doesn't really like is double down due to him not needing it, basically. Like he already has good meter usage without it, and he spends his meter... like he's forced to spend his meter to just convert of things and to run Oki. So you can't really just save it, right? Yeah, I would say the big nerf outside of like just the assist nerf, let me pull it up here, is actually the not actually the time wonder. I think the time wonder is like, I don't know. Time wonder is one of those things where I think it was more of annoying at low level. I never really saw top level people spam time wonder that much in neutral. It's always been more about just like, you know, just moving really well with punishing, doing Helmbreaker, doing like time wonder. If you use it, you're using it with a clone or an assist backing him up, which still is equally as good, basically. Just lasts slightly shorter, but the amount of time it lasted was never really the issue outside of using it as an assist. So it's mostly his assist, I would say, that you can feel, and you can also feel that his super does less damage, but that's kind of it in my opinion. He didn't really get as nerfed in my, like, on point. I think he was much less nerfed than on point Yasuo, and I already thought he was slightly better than Yasuo. I would say the super is the big thing. It does do significantly less damage when you do it late in a combo, but you could also just not do it late in a combo always, so it's fine. Like, you could just spend it a little bit early now. And I don't really notice that his super does like low damage. It's just like a little bit less. But all these things combined with the less block stun on time wonder, on the worst assist, all these things combined with the damage nerf, in my opinion, put him at the level of or slightly, and I mean slightly worse than Ahri. Only slightly. Another really big thing is actually this. His crouching hitbox was bugged, so you couldn't overhead him as Teemo. This was one of the reasons why I thought Ekko was the best last patch, because Teemo was the other best character, and he could not mix Ekko, right? I think that was such a huge fucking deal last patch. And now he doesn't have that matchup advantage versus Teemo. Okay, that's it. I could easily be wrong on those characters. Like, in my opinion, I would actually do it like this. So I'm gonna do it. This is again pre-bug fix. Teemo is, in my opinion, the best character in the game, because he did get nerfs, which is just spin dash being -3 and his instant overhead not being able to convert solo, basically. Let me pull up the Teemo changes. Yeah, so Bandle Dash is now -3 instead of 0, which is a really big deal, because 0 was basically even. Oh, I forgot this. Yeah, Super Assist is slightly easier to hit. That was also something that was really big for Ekko and Yasuo, actually. They both got really significant nerfs to their Super Assist, which matters a lot. But yeah, it was basically they just nerfed his super damage. They nerfed his instant overhead by quite a lot, and then his spin dash. But it's just way less nerfs than what Ekko and Yasuo got, which got like more core changes. And Teemo's zoning for some reason wasn't nerfed at all. Only his only him fighting basically. I guess you could argue double down being nerfed. But what I would say is like basically Teemo barely got nerfed at all unless you play him double down, which was one of his most common fuses, but I still think he's broken in double assist. He's good in freestyle, and double down is still fine for him. It's just not like 10 out of 10 synergy anymore. And the main thing is honestly that now he doesn't have the bad matchup versus Ekko anymore, since he can overhead him when he has an assist up. Before, you could not overhead Ekko at all. Now you can do it when you have a bush out, when you have an assist out, right? So for now, because there's a lot of bug fixes that are coming, they're going to nerf his spin dash, air spin dash, which nukes his combos, nerf the scaling on mushroom, nerf the hit stun on shovel so he can't tag launcher. He gets no mid-screen throw combo anymore. And right now, Teemo's pressure is fine because his throw reward is insane. But now that they've removed the instant overhead solo, and they're then going to remove the throw, it suddenly becomes a lot weaker, right? Because right now, the way that Teemo mixes you up is either he has an assist, or he has a setup. If you have an assist, then a lot of the time when he can't true block string it, you can either retreating guard or parry. Both those lose to throw, and his throw combo is the best in the game, right? So it enables the RPS. When you get set up by Teemo, currently he can cover the text with throw, and then if you tech in place, he either has a mushroom or a burning bush, and then he overheads you and converts from that, right? Now, the problem is that when they nerf the throw, that also means you can't combo off the throw, right? So that means you can just roll way more against Teemo whenever he does have a setup. So in general, I think the bug fix is just going to be massive for Teemo. So let's now make the tier list on what I predict will be the tier list post bug fix, okay? You might think, oh, it's just bug fixes, but it might actually nerf Teemo's damage with like 100 damage on some combos or more. From throw, it's going to be like 300 damage less on average or something. And like from some other conversions, like far conversions, he just get nothing. He can't raw tag combos much from Yasuo, for example. His tag launcher combos are worse. Like everything's just worse without the spin dash glitch that he currently uses. And combined with the fact that while Teemo is very well rounded, he's still much more simplified and one note than say all rounded characters like Warwick, Vi, especially Ahri, Yasuo, and Ekko. They're all way more well rounded than Teemo is. So while it might not be so crazy that like, wow, Teemo can't instant overhead solo, and wow, he can't throw himself, throw and then combo himself. When Yasuo, Ekko, and Ahri all have like 7 different ways of opening opponents up, and Teemo had 2 really broken one in the instant overhead and the throw, I do think that once the bug fix nerfs happen, his tier placement will plummet. That said, I don't think it's gonna go below like top tier or anything, but I would probably say that post bug fix, we're also gonna assume that the Yasuo double super gets bug fixed, so he also goes down. I would say post bug fix, it would look something like this. Again, Warwick also going down because his bloodlust is currently bugged. These are like loose predictions. We don't really know just how bugged Teemo is and how much they're going to change. Are they going to let some things stay? Are they going to let some of the Warwick things stay? Is some of the Yasuo things going to stay? But this is what I would say is my prediction tier list for post-bug fix. And then the previous one is pre-bug fix. This is all, again, 3 days in. Could very well be super wrong on this. Maybe Yasuo Ekko are still the best. Maybe Teemo bug fixes never happen or they take 2 months to happen. You know, I don't know. Stay tuned. I'll update you. I have no problems admitting I'm wrong. And I've been very wrong about this game before. Everyone has. It's just a very complicated game. A lot of things are changing, which is also what makes it interesting. Another very big note is that every single character here has a, in my opinion, like high tier team. Like Braum, Ahri, Braum, Ekko, very, very strong. Blitz has amazing synergy with like Teemo. Fuck, what's it called? Ahri, Teemo Blitz, Ahri Blitz, Ekko Blitz are all amazing. Even Yasuo Blitz. So yeah, very, very fun meta in my opinion. I just want more characters, honestly, but I wouldn't say at all that this game is like unbalanced. Could use more balance for sure, but like for this early in, and given that we're still in early access, I think it could be so much worse, you know? Yeah, I also think that like the characters that are bad in this game, when it comes to Blitz and Braum, like them being any better would make the meta very cancer. Okay, I think we are done with the 2XKO segment of today. I'm gonna boot up League. I need to get to silver, bro.